Ray from Florida is asking why during the weekdays it's back-to-back, but on Shabbat it's face-to-face.
The accumulation of exertion. That's how it comes. But the question is, how can we scrutinize on the weekdays the Shabbat? There are special corrections in each and every correction that we do for Shabbat. Your grandmother is still alive? No. Do you remember her? Did you see how she related to Shabbat? Yes. Every day they do something for Shabbat. Every day. I also remember from my own grandmother and grandfather. I also saw in Sharaim, where I lived there, in this place called Sharaim, in that neighborhood. Where I go from my house to the dental clinic there so I saw how people there, you'd say hello, how are you? You see, it's Wednesday and we're already preparing chicken for Shabbat. In other words, it's from these pekudot, these commands, where for each and every action that you do in the middle of the week, you leave something for Shabbat, which will become corrected on Shabbat by the awakening from above. That's how it's connected. Therefore, from Sunday to Shabbat, from Monday to Shabbat, that's how it works. Because in the corrections, they come precisely on Shabbat. Yes.
Igor from Kiev is asking, what is the root of Shabbat?
The root? The root of Shabbat comes from the zivug of Zon, the 6 sfirot of Zeranpin, and the 7th one, which is Malchut. Where Malchut adapts itself to these 6 sfirot of Zeranpin during the 6 weekdays, as it's called. It's not days, it's degrees that it does. And then the zivug comes between them. Therefore, Shabbat is holy. Why? Because Malchut relates itself to Kodesh, to Zeranpin, to holiness. Where Zeranpin is called Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed is He, and Malchut is the 7th one in the souls.
A student from Holland is asking, what is the meaning of the first Sabbath?
That we are studying here, that's Adam Harishon, after the sin, which did all the things that he needed to do, and was created on the eve of Shabbat, and then entered Shabbat. He didn't need to work because he was born Ma'ul. But when he gathered, that part gathered, where through Shabbat he thought that it could become corrected, so then it entered the breaking, the sin. Yes.
Avram from Natzat Elit is asking, is it correct that on the eve of Shabbat we only have to keep the rules and not perform corrections?
There are many corrections of Shabbat. That's like the people, the populace, who think that if I sit this way, where I work together with this guy from Israel, and he said, I can't do anything. In Shabbat, I'm just sitting like this. A young guy. He was like me. About 30 years old, something like that. So, the populace, the people are used to doing like that, to go slowly over here, over there, to the synagogue, and do everything like that. But in spirituality, in order to perform those correct actions where you need to connect everything you have and bring, even though with the awakening from above you need to be ready for the awakening from below, you need to be in the corrections of Shabbat. We also have, also in the Siddur, it's written about the corrections on Shabbat. What you light, what you don't light. And all that is in order to receive the awakening from above. Yes.
Moshe from LA says that it is written here in the text that the addition of Shabbat governs after he is sanctified. So what is the part of the law here operating?
Even from our lives, we need to pray, to receive the Shabbat, to pray, to do Kiddush, to have the meal. That's called reception in order to bestow all these meals and all these prayers. That's a great spiritual work. What do you think, that you're sitting this way, like you sit at home or here, and just eat? All those things in Shulchan Aruch you need to keep internally. And also sleep. How do you enter that spiritual sleep? How do you awaken the prayers, the corrections, and then afterwards the bitush until the mincha? In the evening prayer you have the additional reading of the prayer until Aravit, the Avdalah, the meal of Milah and Malcha, the meal of King David. So that whole package is a great work in internality. In externality, it just seems as if it's the main thing is that you just don't go to some factory or some office, and that's called that you don't work. Shabbat is a great exertion. It's the time of zivug between Ziranpin and Malchut. Therefore, that's how we keep it as well in our corporeality. All those customs come from spirituality. Okay, we have already finished that part. Is there any other short questions from anyone? Yes, Benzi.
What is the benefit of Adam Rishon in this whole system?
Adam Rishon is a soul. That is the soul, where in the meantime it appears only in its Galgat Venaim. Afterwards it gathers joins with its Achap, the Kelim of reception, the tree of knowledge of good and bad. It could be because it gets the only good, because it gets that illumination from above which cancels the bad, where all those kelim it has now receive correction, and in its whole partzuf continue the light in order to bestow. Where he sees, okay, Eve was correct, that we now have such kelim, such vessels that we can bring to the Creator contentment and the greatest pleasure ever. And he didn't discern that in those kelim the serpent is hiding. What does it mean, the serpent? That part that cannot be corrected. Really, the serpent are those strongest and best kelim, where precisely in them you give contentment to the Creator. But it's impossible to correct them in that way. But through that in which you detail it to many actions, to many years, to many walks. And therefore there was the breaking. That's why Adam Rishon was the Galgalta name of the soul. Chap said, let's connect those kelim of reception, and it's possible. And then you say that when you come close to those kelim of reception, you'll see what contentment the Creator has from you. So how can we not do that? What's disturbing you from doing that? And then he really saw that that's how it is. You understand? From then, it's forbidden to listen to the voice of a woman. But that's when you'll be holy, like Adam Rishon in Galgal Tevei. In the meantime, okay, we'll go to the next part.